Have you ever felt like life is spinning out of control? Are you constantly battling negative emotions, frustrations, or the overwhelming pressure of external circumstances? What if there was a way to transform your life, to achieve peace of mind, and to navigate the challenges of life with clarity and strength? Enter the Stoic mindset. In a world full of distractions, uncertainty, and ever-present struggles, Stoic philosophy offers us a timeless path towards resilience, emotional mastery, and a deep sense of inner peace. Today, let's explore how adopting the Stoic mindset can truly transform your life. At its core, Stoicism is about cultivating a mindset of tranquility, virtue, and control. It's a philosophy that teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. Founded by ancient thinkers like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca, Stoicism has endured the test of time because of its simplicity and effectiveness. The Stoic mindset teaches us to respond to life, rather than react. It encourages us to cultivate wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance in our daily lives. But more importantly, it teaches us to transform how we see the world and ourselves. One of the first steps in adopting the Stoic mindset is understanding the power of control. We often spend our energy and emotions on things we cannot change: the weather, the actions of others, or the past. But the Stoics emphasize focusing only on what is within our control: our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. When you let go of trying to control the uncontrollable, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and disappointment. Instead of feeling powerless in the face of challenges, you start to realize that you have the power to choose how you respond to them. A key concept in Stoicism is the power of perspective. Life is not inherently good or bad. It is our judgment of events that makes them so. For the Stoic, external events are neutral. It's our perception and interpretation of these events that create our emotions. Imagine you face an unexpected setback, a failed project, a lost opportunity, or a personal loss. The Stoic mindset teaches us that while we cannot change the event itself, we can change how we interpret it. Instead of seeing it as a failure, we see it as an opportunity for growth, learning, and improvement. This shift in perspective allows us to remain calm, focused, and empowered even in the face of adversity. The Stoic mindset is all about building resilience. Life isn't always easy, but by practicing Stoic principles, we can strengthen our inner fortitude. Resilience isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about learning from it and growing stronger as a result. Stoicism teaches us that obstacles are not setbacks, but opportunities to prove our strength. Whether it's dealing with personal challenges, professional failures, or moments of doubt, the Stoic mind reminds us that these moments don't define us. Our response to them does. With resilience, we become less dependent on external circumstances for our happiness and more focused on our ability to thrive in any environment. Another vital element of the Stoic mindset is the ability to accept things as they are. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means understanding that there are things beyond our control and learning to find peace in those situations. Stoics teach us to embrace reality, however uncomfortable it may be, and focus our energy on what we can change: our thoughts, actions, and attitude. By accepting the present moment as it is, we release ourselves from the burden of constant dissatisfaction and the illusion of control. We learn to flow with life, accepting both the highs and the lows, while maintaining inner peace. To live a life transformed by Stoicism is to be grounded in the knowledge that we are not victims of our circumstances, but creators of our reality. By adopting the Stoic mindset, we can shift from being reactive to being proactive, from living in constant stress to embracing peace, and from relying on external validation to fostering self-reliance. By focusing on what we can control, shifting our perspective, building resilience, and embracing acceptance, the Stoic mindset empowers us to navigate life's challenges with grace, wisdom, and courage. This mindset is not just a philosophical ideal, it's a way of life, one that can lead to true transformation, happiness, and inner peace. One of the most powerful aspects of the Stoic mindset is the practice of self-discipline. In a world filled with temptations, distractions, and the pressure to follow the crowd, Stoicism teaches us to master ourselves. Self-discipline is about making choices based on reason, not emotions. It's about prioritizing long-term goals over short-term gratification. Whether it's maintaining focus on a goal, resisting impulsive behaviors, or simply living in a way that aligns with your values, self-discipline is essential to achieving true freedom. The Stoics believe that true freedom comes from self-mastery, and that we are not truly free until we have control over our own impulses. Another important lesson from Stoic philosophy is the idea of embracing discomfort. Most people avoid pain and seek comfort, but the Stoics teach us that discomfort is a vital part of growth. Whether it's physical discomfort, emotional struggle, or facing difficult situations, the Stoic mindset encourages us to embrace these moments as opportunities for improvement. By intentionally stepping out of our comfort zone and facing challenges head-on, we build resilience, strength, and mental toughness. Stoics understood that by enduring discomfort, we become better equipped to deal with life's inevitable hardships. The Stoic practice of reflection is another powerful tool for transformation. Each day, the Stoics would engage in self-reflection, examining their actions, thoughts, and emotions. This practice helps us develop self-awareness and identify areas where we can improve. By reflecting on our experiences, we can better understand what drives our actions and how we can make more conscious choices. The Stoics encourage us to view every day as an opportunity to grow, and by reflecting on our thoughts and behaviors, we can ensure that we are consistently moving toward wisdom and virtue. Gratitude is another essential component of the Stoic mindset. While many people focus on what they lack or what they don't have, the Stoics emphasize the importance of appreciating what we do have. Gratitude shifts our focus from what is missing to what is abundant in our lives, helping us feel content and at peace. By practicing gratitude, we reframe our mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. It's not about ignoring challenges or pretending that life is perfect, but rather about acknowledging the blessings we already have and using them as a foundation for growth. Finally, the Stoic mindset encourages us to focus on the present moment. Too often, we spend our time dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, but the Stoics teach us that true peace comes when we focus on the present. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain, but the present moment is all we truly have. By grounding ourselves in the now, we can reduce anxiety, improve our decision-making, and cultivate a deeper sense of peace. Living in the present allows us to fully engage with life, appreciate its fleeting beauty, and take mindful actions that align with our goals. By incorporating these Stoic principles into our daily lives, we can transform the way we respond to challenges, setbacks, and obstacles. The Stoic mindset empowers us to take control of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, leading us to live a life of greater purpose, meaning, and inner peace. It's not about achieving perfection, but about constantly striving to become a better version of ourselves, free from the influence of external circumstances and grounded in our own inner strength. When we live according to the Stoic mindset, we become more resilient, more focused, and more capable of navigating the complexities of life with grace and wisdom. The Stoic mindset also teaches us the importance of managing our desires and attachments. In today's world, we are often driven by our desires for material possessions, status, or approval from others. The Stoics, however, remind us that true fulfillment does not come from external things. It comes from within, from aligning our lives with virtue, wisdom, and self-control. By reducing our attachment to fleeting desires, we free ourselves from the constant chase for more and learn to find contentment in what we have. The Stoics teach us to embrace simplicity and to seek happiness not in what we accumulate, but in how we live. True wealth, they believed, is found in living a life of virtue and self-discipline, not in the accumulation of material possessions. Another significant aspect of the Stoic mindset is the idea of accepting the impermanence of life. Everything in life is temporary, and the Stoics encourage us to embrace this truth rather than fear it. Whether it's a relationship, a career, or a particular phase of life, everything is subject to change. By recognizing the transient nature of life, we can develop a greater sense of gratitude and appreciation for the present moment. We are reminded not to take anything for granted and to live each day with a sense of purpose, knowing that everything, both good and bad, will pass in time. The Stoics also understood that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. This understanding is at the heart of Stoic resilience. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes things don't go as planned. But how we respond to those challenges is within our control. Instead of being angry or frustrated when faced with adversity, the Stoic approach is to remain calm, assess the situation objectively, and respond in a way that aligns with our values. This approach allows us to maintain our composure in the face of difficulties and to avoid being swept away by emotional reactions. The practice of forgiveness is another key aspect of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that holding on to grudges or harboring resentment only harms ourselves. It's not the actions of others that cause us pain, but our judgment of those actions. By letting go of anger and resentment, we free ourselves from the negative emotional weight that these feelings create. Forgiveness is not about excusing the actions of others, but about freeing ourselves from the grip of negative emotions. It's about reclaiming our peace and allowing ourselves to move forward. The Stoic mindset also encourages us to cultivate a sense of community and interconnectedness with others. While Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own thoughts and actions, it also recognizes the importance of living in harmony with others. We are all part of a greater whole, and by acting in ways that contribute to the common good, we create a more just and harmonious society. The Stoic approach to relationships is one of mutual respect, understanding, and compassion. By practicing empathy and treating others with kindness, we foster an environment of peace and cooperation. Lastly, the Stoic mindset encourages us to practice patience. In a world that values instant gratification and quick results, the Stoics remind us that many of life's greatest achievements take time. Whether it's developing a skill, building a relationship, or cultivating wisdom, the Stoic way is to approach these endeavors with patience, understanding that progress often comes slowly. By embracing patience, we learn to appreciate the journey rather than fixating on the destination, and we develop the resilience needed to persevere through challenges. Incorporating these principles into our daily lives allows us to transform our mindset, overcome challenges, and live with greater peace and purpose. The Stoic mindset empowers us to rise above the chaos of the world, focus on what truly matters, and live a life that is grounded in wisdom, virtue, and inner strength. It is not a quick fix or a one-time solution, but a lifelong practice that requires effort, dedication, and a commitment to personal growth. Through this journey, we learn to live in harmony with ourselves, others, and the world around us. The Stoic mindset, when embraced fully, has the power to lead us toward a life of true freedom, contentment, and lasting transformation. As we continue on the Stoic journey, one more essential principle is the practice of mindfulness and awareness. The Stoics were keenly aware of the importance of being present in each moment. Life is full of distractions, and it is easy to get lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. But the Stoics remind us that the present moment is the only time we truly have. By being mindful of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we create the space to make intentional choices. This practice of awareness allows us to live more consciously and aligns our actions with our values. It empowers us to respond to situations with clarity and purpose, rather than simply reacting out of habit or impulse. The Stoic mindset also teaches us to recognize and embrace our limitations. It's easy to fall into the trap of striving for perfection or comparing ourselves to others, but the Stoic view is one of self-acceptance. We are human, and we are imperfect by nature. By embracing our limitations, we release ourselves from unrealistic expectations and the burden of trying to be something we are not. Stoicism encourages us to acknowledge our weaknesses and work on improving them, but without judgment or self-criticism. This acceptance allows us to focus on what truly matters and to make steady progress toward becoming the best version of ourselves. Another powerful teaching in Stoicism is the importance of temperance. In a world that often promotes excess and indulgence, the Stoic approach is one of balance and moderation. Temperance is about cultivating self-control and avoiding the extremes that can lead to harm. It's about finding harmony in all areas of life: work, leisure, relationships, and even our physical needs. By practicing temperance, we create stability and contentment, avoiding the destructive cycle of overindulgence that leads to dissatisfaction and suffering. Stoicism teaches us that happiness does not come from excess, but from living a balanced and mindful life. The Stoic principle of amor fati, or the love of fate, encourages us to embrace all of life, the good and the bad. This mindset teaches us to accept everything that happens to us, whether it brings joy or hardship, as part of our journey. It's about seeing every moment, every challenge, and every obstacle as an opportunity for growth and learning. Rather than resisting life's difficulties, we learn to embrace them with open arms, understanding that they are an essential part of the process of becoming who we are meant to be. Amor fati teaches us to let go of resentment and to welcome the unknown with courage and gratitude. The final principle of Stoicism that can transform your life is the concept of memento mori, or the reminder of death. The Stoics encourage us to remember that life is finite, and our time on this earth is limited. This awareness is not meant to cause fear or anxiety, but to motivate us to live more fully and with purpose. By recognizing the brevity of life, we are reminded to make the most of each day, to focus on what truly matters, and to let go of trivial concerns. Memento mori invites us to live with intention, knowing that every moment counts and that we should aim to live a life that is meaningful, grounded in virtue, and aligned with our deepest values. Incorporating these Stoic principles into our lives allows us to live not just for survival, but for flourishing. It's about rising above the noise of modern life and cultivating a mindset that fosters personal growth, resilience, and peace. The Stoic mindset is a lifelong practice, a journey that asks us to question our assumptions, examine our reactions, and choose how we respond to the world around us. It is a path of inner freedom, where we are not controlled by external circumstances, but instead, we learn to navigate life with wisdom, grace, and unwavering strength. By embracing the Stoic way of living, we gain the power to transform our lives from within. We no longer see challenges as threats, but as opportunities to grow. We no longer look for happiness in external achievements or possessions, but instead, we find peace in the cultivation of virtue, self-discipline, and acceptance. The Stoic mindset empowers us to be resilient in the face of adversity, calm in times of uncertainty, and steadfast in our pursuit of a life well lived. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but by committing to the Stoic way, we gradually begin to see the world through a clearer lens, one that is free from illusions of control and certainty. We learn to trust ourselves, to take responsibility for our thoughts and actions, and to create a life that reflects our highest values. The Stoic mindset teaches us that true freedom and peace come not from external circumstances, but from within. It's a path that leads to a deeper sense of purpose, a stronger sense of self, and a life filled with lasting fulfillment. Another deeply transformative aspect of the Stoic mindset is emotional regulation. The Stoics never taught suppression of emotions. They taught mastery over them. Instead of being controlled by anger, fear, jealousy, or despair, the Stoics trained their minds to observe emotions without being ruled by them. This doesn't mean we deny how we feel, but we learn to pause, reflect, and act based on wisdom rather than impulse. When anger arises, we ask, is my reaction serving virtue, or just feeding my ego? When fear grips us, we question, is this fear rational, or just my mind running wild? Through this process, we begin to develop emotional clarity, which allows us to remain calm and composed even in situations that would typically provoke panic or aggression. The Stoic also learns how to detach from outcomes. We live in a world obsessed with results, whether it's success, recognition, or wealth. But Stoicism teaches us to shift our focus from outcomes to actions. We do our duty, we apply effort, we live with intention, but we release the need to control the result. Why? Because outcomes depend on many variables outside our control. If we tie our happiness to what we cannot control, we surrender our peace. But if we find satisfaction in doing what is right and acting with integrity, we remain free regardless of what follows. This detachment is not apathy, it is freedom. It allows us to move forward with purpose, unaffected by praise or blame, gain or loss. Another quiet yet powerful strength the Stoic develops is humility. In a culture that often glorifies self-importance, Stoicism humbles us by showing how small we are in the grand scheme of things. The Stoic is aware of their ignorance, aware of how much is unknown and unknowable. This humility doesn't lead to weakness, it leads to wisdom. It opens the mind to learning, to growth, and to the understanding that arrogance is the enemy of clarity. The wise man doesn't need to appear right, he seeks truth. He doesn't speak the loudest, he listens the deepest. He knows that his place in the world is temporary, and that true greatness is found in service, not in ego. The Stoic mindset also fosters endurance, the ability to keep moving forward regardless of how we feel. Life will not always be easy. There will be days of failure, loneliness, and loss. But the Stoic accepts these as part of the path. He does not seek comfort, he seeks strength. And strength is built through endurance. Even when hope seems distant, the Stoic keeps walking, because he knows that what matters most is not how we feel in the moment, but who we become through perseverance. This discipline of showing up, of remaining faithful to our values when it is hardest to do so, shapes the soul more than any easy victory ever could. And finally, the Stoic mindset teaches love, not romantic love, but a deeper, more universal love for humanity. Stoicism does not isolate, it connects. It teaches us that we are all fellow travelers on the same path. We all suffer, we all hope, we all fall and rise again. The Stoic treats others with kindness, patience, and respect, not because they deserve it, but because it is right. He forgives, not for their sake, but for his own peace. He helps, not for reward, but because virtue demands it. This love is grounded, quiet, and powerful. It is the kind of love that does not shout, but endures. The kind of love that sees the divine spark in every person and chooses compassion over judgment. When all of these principles are woven together, emotional mastery, detachment from outcomes, humility, endurance, and universal compassion, they create a life that is unshakable. The Stoic lives not for the approval of others, but for alignment with his own inner compass. He walks through the storm with calm eyes. He meets both failure and success with the same steady heart. And in the end, he leaves behind a legacy, not of noise, but of character. A quiet, powerful presence that touches others not through force, but through example. This is the Stoic transformation, a mind sharpened by wisdom, a heart strengthened by discipline, and a life anchored in purpose. When we live with a Stoic mindset, we also free ourselves from the burden of needing everything to go our way. Life does not owe us comfort, fairness, or certainty. The Stoic understands this and makes peace with it. This acceptance does not lead to passivity, it leads to clarity. When we no longer demand that life be easy or that people treat us exactly as we wish, we stop suffering from disappointment. Instead, we respond to reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. We focus our energy on what we can shape, our thoughts, our actions, our virtues. Everything else is observed without attachment, judged without panic, and allowed to pass without resistance. This way of living does not make life emotionless, it makes it richer. Because when we stop fearing loss, we can finally appreciate what we have. When we stop chasing pleasure, we begin to feel joy. When we stop trying to control people, we can finally love them as they are. The Stoic becomes fully alive not by chasing stimulation, but by living intentionally. Every moment becomes sacred because the Stoic knows it is fleeting. Every action becomes meaningful because it reflects the soul. And every challenge becomes a teacher because it reveals where strength is still waiting to grow. The Stoic mindset is not about perfection, it's about progress. We will fall short. We will make mistakes. But the Stoic does not dwell on failure. He learns, adjusts, and moves forward. He does not need applause to know his worth. His validation comes from within. This inner freedom is the deepest power a human can hold. It means you are no longer enslaved by external things, by status, possessions, approval, or fear. You are rooted in yourself, guided by principle, and committed to becoming someone your future self can respect. When you walk this path long enough, something incredible begins to happen. The noise of the world fades. The chaos no longer shakes you. You feel a quiet strength inside you, a deep stillness that no one can take away. This is the fruit of the Stoic journey. A life of depth instead of distraction. A mind of focus instead of frenzy. A heart of peace instead of panic. This is how you transform your life, not by changing the world outside you, but by mastering the world within. That is the power of the Stoic mindset. And it's a path open to anyone willing to walk it, with courage, with patience, and with unwavering commitment to inner truth.